Today is December 21st, 2025, and I kind of have set in my mind like a December 23rd to be a special day that I'm going to make for a holiday, because there's a couple days right before Christmas, because I do believe Christmas is December 25th and Christmas Eve is December 24th. And I think December 23rd has to be dungbutter holiday. Right? And so what I did so far, and I'm just going to make this journal entry just so I can stay on track and not actually forget where I'm going with this thing, and keep it concise, because I can't be making mistakes and redoing stuff like I've already started, like I do every time. But maybe these mistakes can be minor, but my effort is to, do it without too many mistakes. But here I got started. Okay, I said dung butter. And then I already whited out part of it. In the year of our Lord, I'm going to say, I don't know, maybe like, dung butter. Given by God with love. In the year of our Lord, 2025. Believing everyone can have dung butter before the government forces it up your ass. And then on the back side here, I did this one too. All right. Oh crap. All right, here we go. All right, let's see. All right. Anyway. Okay, anyway. All right, dung butter. Hey, dung butter. Well, that's weird. It looks like on my screen it's written backwards or something. Dung butter. That must be some feature on the phone. All right. Anyway, this one, I whited out. I did say, founded on a day, but I changed it. So I whited that part out. And now I got dung butter. And I just got found, and then I got whited out. Then I got dedicated to one thing, dung butter for all. And I got happy faces and stuff. Well, that really looks weird. I see what I wrote on here backwards, and I don't understand why. But I think it must have something to do with being mirrored or something like that. I'll have to look into that. Anyway, so and then okay, so then see what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna write a story, about the ass huckers and the dung butter, and just make a note, that in these times the sewage was collected in the cities, and nobody had to deal with their actual sewage, right? Except people like me, because I got a septic tank, and I have known what it is to get that thing backed up. But no, it costs like or $5,000, I had to have that thing replaced, and then it screwed everything up. That's why I got a lift station now. But anyway, I'm just gonna say, some opportunists came along, and people were working their asses off, and the ass suckers were hucking them in the ass. And some people came along and they seen an opportunity, and they seen that somehow faith in something gave people power to actually endure. Okay, they have faith in something. They had to have faith in something bigger than themselves, all right? And so they came up with something called dung butter, because it made it easy when you were metaphorically taking it right up the ass. And so they started selling this dung butter just like they sell mud water today. They were making a killing on it, all right? And this was dung butter. And, come to find out in the end that true dung butter actually came from working your ass off. From working your ass off under the threat of the ass huckers. And, I'm going to note, the big ass clown that came descending down the golden escalator with his Playboy woman from Russia. And how the ass huckers invaded the land, and everybody was basically just working their asses off. Because the only way you can get true not butt butter, dung butter. Maybe I should call it butt butter. I don't know. I got dung butter. The only way that you could get true dung butter is by working your ass off. But people felt and believed, that there was some merit in the actual dung butter. That if they put it on the crack of their ass, it would be a certain kind of magic potion that would help keep them going. And, yeah, I guess it helped a lot of people. It did help a lot of people. Miracles actually took place in the name of dung butter. And so, but the bottom line was that was the only way that God could teach us the power of faith, as if he used these opportunists to give us dung butter. And then we learned about dung butter, but then we found out that it really wasn't the dung butter at all. It was faith. Well, so I don't know how I'm going to actually put all this, but I'm just doing it, like a line at a time. You got to go through life with an eraser and erase your mistakes and then, make it better. But I mean, look, there's limits and bounds to that, okay? I'm not talking about being like Trump and erasing your mistakes, but you really thinking that all your mistakes are what brought you to this grand and glorious plateau of achievement. I'm not talking about like that. I'm not talking about like Trump whitewashing his mistakes, but actually being proud of them. Okay, no, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about correcting course, making yourself course corrections. And so I should probably say in the letter that's going to come from my parents, when I actually explain the whole metaphor and the reason why we actually do have a dung butter holiday, because it was through dung butter that we actually came to learn and understand the meaning of hard work and faith, of working one's ass off, with the ass huckers always nearby. Well, we learned about dung butter. And dung butter is what you call a transitional object. And we have a lot of transitional objects in life. And so, dung butter is one of those transitional objects in life, And it's just a metaphor that I made up. But nevertheless, I'm going to present it as a legend, the legend of dung butter, and everything that means. Dung butter is not just dung butter. No, dung butter is magic. But you actually, in the end, you got to be able to actually look past the dung butter itself, okay? The dung butter is not really the magic is not really in the dung butter. The magic is what you imbue the dung butter with to bring it to life, but the magic comes from you. And you imbue that. I wrote one of my kids about that one time. I think it might have been Isaac, I don't know. But I told him that we imbue things with power. Hey. Like I imbue you with power. You imbue me with power. We imbue our own secret potions with power. Like, look, I imbue my dehydrated peppers with power because I believe that when I eat those with some cheese, that brings like life to me or something, like it is a magic potion to keep me more healthier and stuff like that. And so we do imbue things with power, and we make up our stories, and we make our holy days and to serve as signposts and guides and toward our perfection. All right, toward our destiny. And it was the goodness of the Lord that gave us dung butter, because that's the only way God could teach us about hard work and stuff like that, is if we had something to believe in until we could actually get there. So we put our faith in the dung butter, and then but we find ourselves at a better place, and praise be to the dung butter for it. Okay? And that's why I say, dung butter for all. Dung butter for all. Anyway, I'm just going to cut this one off here, because this is just my note that I might have to look back onto just so I can keep track, because I have limited space of what I can work with. And like when I was a kid, man, I remember erasing on my papers so many times that I almost erased right through the paper. Okay? Erasing, okay? And that's what we even have to do, okay? Okay, even, okay, some people like to erase stuff out of their life because, they realize that, it really wasn't that, or whatever it was needed to be highlighted in a little different way, or so you can't say everything, so you got to be choosy about what you are going to say. And so, we have to go through life with an eraser, that's for sure. But, we just can't act like we've never had to erase. See? And you don't need to erase dung butter out of the conversation. And you don't have to, and you can be proud to admit dung butter holiday. Okay? With the understanding that dung butter at its deepest core stands for something else. A transitional object, okay? And it stands for faith and hard work. And there's nothing wrong in saying dung butter for all. For some reason, I just want to say dung butter for all, and to all a good night. No. I'm just going to call this one a good night.